بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We have been discussing some practical issues that in the first level of muaraqabah we need to observe. We talked about tasbih of Lady Fatima as the third one last week, and now we study the fourth. The late Ayatollah Shujai says that the fourth is to read dua of Sabaah of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam after tasbih of Lady Fatima after Salatul Fajr. So tasbih of Lady Fatima is after Salat, and then after tasbih we should read Dua Sabaah. And he says, of course, this dua should be recited with attention to the meaning. If you don't know Arabic, at least read the translation. Attention to the meaning is important. Presence of heart, as we have always been saying, very important. Really asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the core of dua is to feel your need in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if dua may not necessarily involve requests, but presence of heart is always needed. And when there is request, that request must come from your heart as a kind of real request, not that you are reading a request, you are making a request. So these are conditions that are to be observed. And then israr, we should be insisting. In our hadith we have that one of the conditions of dua is ilhah, or it's like israr, to insist, but insisting not in the sense that na'udhu billah we forcefully want to take something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Insisting in the sense that we want to show that we really want this, not that we say something and we go. If you want to make someone agree with your request, you have to go and keep asking. When I think it was Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh, when was asking Allama to teach him, he even cried. And sometimes you have to go many times and ask the teacher. So insisting is very important. And then having hope. Hope is also very important. Whenever you make dua, you should be hopeful, to the extent that hadith says ظُنَّ حَاجَتَكَ بِالْبَابِ. You should think that your haja is just at the door, waiting for Allah to just let it enter. We shouldn't be despaired. We should be very hopeful. This is about Dua Sabaah. The fifth is to be always with tahaarah. As you know, we have two types of hadath in fiqh. We study hadath asghar, hadath akbar. There are conditions for which you need to make a wudu. They make your wudu void, like sleeping. Sleeping make wudu void. There are things for which you need ghusl, like, for example, janaba needs ghusl. We should try to be day and night in the condition that we don't need wudu or ghusl. If something has happened that requires ghusl, we should have made the ghusl. If something that requires wudu, we should make wudu. For example, when we wake up in the morning, or if you had a sleep or nap during the day, you should make a wudu. When you go to washroom, come out, you should make a wudu. So wudu and tahaarah in general are very important. It is true that it's not wajib always. For example, wudu for certain practices is wajib, like salat, like tawaf, or to be in the condition of not needing ghusl may not be always wajib. Maybe at certain times they become wajib. Here we are not talking about wujub, but we are talking about necessity of being always in the condition of tahaarah, as if you want to say salat, as if you want to go do tawaf. Always we should be in that condition. Plus our body, our clothes should be clean, should be tahir. Tahaarah, Ayatollah Shuja'i says, is one of those secrets of ghaib that we are not familiar with. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al Imran, verse 179, He says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما كان الله ليطلعكم على الغيب. Allah is not going to inform all of you about ghaib, about the unseen, about the hidden facts and realities. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَجْتَبِي مِنْ رُسُلِهِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. But Allah selects from His messengers those that He wills. Means He would select some of His messengers and share ghaib with them. He shares ghaib with them. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. We need to believe in Allah and His messengers. When you don't have access to ghaib, you should follow Allah, to whom ghaib belongs, and the messengers to whom Allah has disclosed ghaib. وَإِن تُؤْمِنُوا وَتَتَّقُوا فَلَكُمْ أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. If you believe and have taqwa, you will have great reward. So we don't know ghaib. We learn from those that know about ghaib. Therefore, let us see what we have in our hadith, some of the hadith about tahaarah. One hadith is in Wasa'il al-Shia, volume 1, page 268, and continues to page 269. Anas, one of the companions of the Prophet, says, Rasulullah told me, Ya Anas, Akthir minat tuhur. Tahur is different from tuhur. Tahur is what makes tahara, like water. Alhamdulillah alladhi ja'ala al-ma'a tahura. Yeah, so ma is tahur, means is mutahhir, makes tahir, make clean. Tuhur means to be in the condition of tahara. So أكثر من الطهور يزيد الله في عمرك. O Anas, make tahaarah in abundance. Allah will increase your life. Even you can do tahaarah with wuzu, then again do wuzu ala wuzu. Al wuzu ala al wuzu, nurun ala nur. So akthar in the sense that try to have it all the time, or even maybe repeat wudu. One benefit is yazidullahu fi umrik. This will increase your life. وإن استطعت أن تكون بالليل والنهار على طهارة فافعل. If you can make sure that during the day and during the night you have tahaarah, do this. Of course, during the night means when you go to sleep. Yeah? So when you are awake, of course you keep tahaarah. And when you want to sleep, also make wudu and go to bed. So in this way, whenever you are awake, you have tahaarah, you have wudu. Then there is a very moving statement here. فإنك تكون إذا مت على طهارة شهيدا. If you die in this condition of tahaarah, you die as a martyr. If we just, take these things seriously, when we are making tahaarah, we should not think that this is just a ritual. Everyone washes his hand, for example. We Muslims also wash our hand, our face. It's not washing hand or face. Yes, it includes washing, but washing is just for the body. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a spirit for this physical exercise. Like salat. Salat has a form and has a spirit. Wudu has form and has a spirit. The form is you use water and wash yourself and do masah. But the spirit is that it washes your soul, cleans your heart, purifies your spirit. When water is used for wudu or ghusl, it's transformed into light. And therefore, for mass, you should use the same water that is used for wudu. You cannot take water from tap and do mass. This wudu, which is used for washing face and hand, is transformed, and then you can use it for wiping. Drops of water which drop from the places of wudu are drops of light. Therefore, Ashab of Rasulullah were trying to take these drops. It's different from water in the pipe or in the river, etc. For a muttaqi, for a God-fearing person, not for a sinner, not for a careless person who just has made a habit of making wudu. For a salik, a wayfarer towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making wudu is like taking a shower of light for your soul. It's very important. If you die in this condition, then You die as a witness, as a shaheed, as a martyr. Another hadith is from Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. لا ينام المسلم وهو جنوب. A Muslim does not sleep when he is junub. ولا ينام إلا على طهور. Would not sleep unless he or she has tahaarah. فإن لم يجد الماء. If water is not available, فليتيمم بالصعيد. Quran says فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا. Something from earthy material, things that we can use for tayammum. You can do tayammum. Then look at this beautiful sentence. فإن روح المؤمن تروح إلى الله. We don't know what happens when we asleep. Sometimes we think just it's a rest for the body or a rest for the mind. Who knows? Maybe a moment during a sleep is also gaining a lot. During a sleep, maybe, I'm not saying always and necessarily for everyone, but it's possible that a moment during a sleep is closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at this beautiful hadith. إن روح المؤمن تروح إلى الله عز وجل فيلقاها ويبارك عليها. The spirit of mu'min goes towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah will meet the spirit of mu'min and will bless the spirit of mu'min. Quran says, Allahu yatawaffa al-anfusa hina mawtaha wallati lam tamut fi manamiha. So when we are sleeping, Allah is taking our soul. Our soul is rising towards Allah. فَيَلْقَاهَا. It means Allah يَلْقَى الروح وَيُبَارِكُ عَلَيْهَا, would send barakah, bless the ruh, the spirit. فَإِنْ كَانَ أَجَلُهَا قَدْ حَضَرَ. If the deadline has come, ajal has come, and this person has to die, as we have in the ayah, والتي لم تمت في منامها فيمسك التي قضى عليها الموت ويرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى. Those who are supposed to die, their soul will not be released. Those who are supposed to continue, their soul will be released. So Amir al-Mu'minin says, إن كان أجلها قد حضر جعلها في مكنون رحمته. If the death has come, the time of departure has come for this soul, Allah would put the soul in His hidden mercy. مكنون رحمته. As if he would be surrounded and covered with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ أَجَلُهَا قَدْ حَضَرَ. If the ajal, the deadline has not come, بَعَثَ بِهَا مَعَ أُمَنَائِهِ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. Allah would send this spirit with some of the angels that are trusted by Allah for this mission. Umanam is trustees. So Allah would not just send this soul back. Allah would make some angels responsible for escorting this spirit. فَيَرُدُّهَا فِي جَسَدِهِ. Then Allah would return this soul, this ruh, this spirit, to the body. So, for liqa'ullah during sleep, and for returning safely with the escort of the angels, you can help. You should sleep with tahaarah. Ayatollah Shuja'i says, from this beautiful hadith, he likes to draw our attention to two sentences. One is, he says, please contemplate on this one. فَإِنَّ الرُّوحَ الْمُؤْمِنِ تَرُوحُ إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ فَيَلْقَاهَا وَيُبَارِكُ عَلَيْهَا. Think about it. What does it mean? What a beautiful encounter is happening for the soul of mu'min. So, the barakah which is in liqa'ullah in that time. The second part that he says you should reflect is the part which says Allah would send the soul with angels. بَعَثَ بِهَا مَعَ أُمَنَائِهِ مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. He says from this we can understand that there is a risk if Allah doesn't protect us. When the soul wants to go back to the body, may face dangers which can come by attack of shaitan. Why Allah sends angels to escort us? So it means that there are dangers. Attack of shaitan, or I add, it's not in the book, or maybe some health issues can happen. You know, because you are, when your soul is going back to the body, it's like a new life. And this transition has to take place smoothly. Otherwise, if, for example, someone is sleeping and, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you awaken or frighten that person, maybe that person is not able to speak, maybe that person develops, you know, some mental illnesses, maybe that person at least develops headache, becomes very tired. These are the minimum, but maybe shaitan also will attack. So angels are asked and commissioned by Allah, and not every angel. These are umana'ihi min al-malaka. These are angels that are trustees for this particular purpose. Because, you know, we have different types of angels, and they have many different roles. Another hadith is from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Man tatahhara thumma awa ila firashihi bata wa firashuhu kamasjidih. The one who makes tahaarah and then goes to his bed and sleeps, he sleeps and his bed is like his place of sajda. Masjid, either mosque or means place of sajda, place of salat. This is not bed for the body, but for the soul is masjid. So he says people who have ma'rifah, they understand that souls of mu'mineen, when they sleep with tahaarah, is doing uruj, is ascending to higher realms and towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All these hadiths are in Wasa'il al-Shia. من بات على طهر فكأنما أحيا الليل. If someone sleeps with tahaarah, it's like reviving the night. So this time of sleep is like ihya, is as if you have not slept and you have been doing ibadah. Of course, this does not replace tahajjud. That's on top of it. So when you go to sleep, go with wudu. This is considered as ihya. And then, of course, before Fajr also do Salatul Layl, because that has another barakah. In contrast, if we don't have tahaarah, whether we are awake or we are sleeping, if we don't have tahaarah, he says a kind of darkness will happen which would not let your soul rise towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one, would make the hand, in my expression, make the hands of shaitan open. He says راهگشای دخالت‌های شیطانی در دل و روح, opens the door for interference of shaitan, for satanic interference in the heart. So it works quite opposite in a way if you don't have tahaarah. And he says not having tahaarah is a kind of impolite behavior. You know, we kept saying that muaraqabah is to observe the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah? To observe janib ubudiyyat. So you should always behave as a servant in front of his master. Now, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is it okay if we are in the condition of janaba, or without wudu, or without tahaarah? He refers to a hadith, famous hadith. You must have heard this hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Rasulullah mentions a hadith Qudsi. Yaqulullah ta'ala, Allah says, Man ahdatha wa lam yatawadda faqad jafani. Whoever becomes muhdith, for example, goes to washroom, sleeps, and then doesn't make wudu, faqad jafani, has made jafa to me, means has done injustice, in the sense that has not observed my right or my rights, because Allah has many rights, not just one right. And also, hadith continues, for example, then if he makes wuzu and doesn't say salah, then qad jafani. Makes salah, doesn't make dua after that, qad jafani. But if he makes wuzu and salat and makes dua, and I don't grant him what he wants, then I have done zulm to him. So, what does it mean, faqad jafani? This was not wajib. Yes, it's not wajib, but it's impolite, it's not respectful in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For a salik is different from ordinary people. A wayfarer who knows that Allah is present everywhere, and the first condition of being on the journey is to feel presence of Allah, then how can you be without tahaarah? The next thing is dua Kumayl. In night of Jum'ah and then the night of middle of Sha'ban. Dua Kumayl is specifically recommended in the night of Jum'ah and middle of Sha'ban. And it says Saleh should be committed to this. This dua is dua of Khidr alayhi salam, and Amirul Mu'minin taught one of his very close companions, Kumayl ibn Ziyad al-Nakha'i. So is dua of Khidr that Amirul Mu'minin taught Kumayl. Sheikh Tusi Ridwanullah alayhi in Misbah al-Mutahajjid mentions dua Kumayl as one of the deeds of the night of middle of Sha'ban, 15th of Sha'ban, and he says it has been narrated that Kumayl ibn Ziyad saw Imam Ali alayhi salam in the middle of Sha'ban reciting this dua in sajda. Amirul Mu'minin was reciting dua Kumayl in sajda. Again, as we said in dua Sabaah, attention to the meaning is important, presence of heart is important, really asking Allah is important, and being hopeful also is very important. Then he makes a point, a kind of note. He says in the first level of muaraqabah, the wayfarer may find some of the passages in dua Kumayl are too high for him. It's not for him, it's for someone higher. For example, Ilahi habni sabartu ala azabik. Ya Ilahi wa Sayyidi wa Mawlaya wa Rabbi, my Lord, my Master, suppose I can be patient with your adhab. فَكَيْفَ أَصْبِرُ عَلَى فِرَاقِكَ. How can I be patient with being far and separate from you? So this is for a lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe this is too big for us. He says, when you come across such passages, you read them, but with a sense of embarrassment, with sharmandagi, embarrassment, enkesar, with a broken heart. You say, Allah, I'm saying this, but please raise me to the level that I can really say this. Give me attractions and jazabat that I fall so much in love with you that I can say I don't bother even about azab. If you are separate from me, that's the worst thing. For many people, no, azab is the worst thing, because they have not understood what is the pain of suffering, the pain and suffering of separation. So he says, با شرمندگی و انکسار این جملات را بگوید و در عین حال این امید و طمع را نیز در دل داشته باشد. Should say this with embarrassment and broken heart, but at the same time should have hope and expectation that Allah may have kind attention at him and make him majzoob, attract him towards himself, and make him one of those people who really mean this. This is also a beautiful point that he mentioned. So tonight we studied three things: dua Sabaah, tahaarah all the time, and dua Kumayl in the nights of Jum'ah and middle of Sha'ban. The next thing that inshallah we have to discuss is recitation of the Quran. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi. Thank you very much, Sheikh.
May Allah bless you, inshallah. Thank you.
Very interesting and insightful session as always. I think we have time for some questions.
Yes.
I know some of our participants would like to ask probably, but if I can just come in with a quick one before, I think Brother Ihsan might have a few. So let me just ask my one quickly. Regarding preparation for our sleep in terms of tahaarah, wudu, and so on. Sometimes we may be doing activities, for example, reading a book or watching something, maybe something like a lecture, but maybe that merges with our sleep. So you fall asleep whilst reading or whilst watching. Is that something that should be encouraged, or should we, for example, have more control on, for example, our sleep time and try to separate our activities from the time that we actually go to sleep?
You know, if you are, for example, studying with wuzu and fall asleep, then with wuzu you have slept. So this condition is observed. If you were without wuzu, then that's again a problem that, you know, why we did something. We were awake and we didn't have wuzu. But if you are always with wuzu and then you fall asleep, it's okay. But generally speaking, it's better if we plan to sleep. We don't just fall asleep. So finish whatever you are doing, be in your bed, close your eyes, do some dhikr, recite some Qul Huwa Allah, tasbih of Lady Fatima, and it's a kind of planned sleeping. It's better, generally speaking. But as long as wuzu is concerned, then if you are with wuzu and fall asleep, that's not a problem.
Thank you very much. Sheikh Ihsan, if you want to ask a question.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much once again. Just a quick question I had on tahaarah. You read a few beautiful ahadith about the one, for example, who is in the state of tahaarah, how it'll be like a masjid, the place, or he as though he has revived the night, and the rest of the hadith that you read. I'm just trying to think and contemplate on this. I know on the first page we mentioned that this is it's something that is a secret amongst the secrets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so we're not able to fully understand. But just trying to seeing your thoughts on this. Maybe when we are awake and we are in the state of tahaarah, maybe one would think, okay, it kind of makes sense, because all of the reward, because you're more, in that state of awareness, in the state of wudu, in the state of being present and attention. So maybe you'll watch your actions a bit more, because it's just being in a state of muaraqabah. But when you're sleeping, you're sleeping. So whether you're in the state of tahaarah or not, it's the same. Physically you won't be able, you won't be doing anything different anyway for you to need presence. When you sleep, how can you be present or not present? Probably it has a meaning, but I don't know. Is it simply that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees that you have put an effort, for example, to do this thing which has been recommended, and He gives you reward for it? Or is there something like takwini with it, that no, because you're in this state of purity, there's a different, degree or different state that you have at night? That was just something I wanted to see, just to get a bit of more understanding. Thank you.
You're welcome. When you are awake, you are very much engaged with dunya, although you have a spirit, and your spirit has connections with malakut and the world of spirits, but your spirit is very much engaged through body with dunya. And here wudu helps us a lot. But when you sleep, your soul is more free to engage with the realm of spirits, with the angels, with the spirits, with malakut. If I just want to use a kind of metaphoric language. When you sleep, for your soul, the day starts. The day of activities and engagement in its own realm starts. Okay? And then tahaarah very much helps the soul in that realm. Maybe even more than it helps during the day in dunya. Because over there, it's more spiritual. So you need tahaarah more. Even in dunya without tahaarah, maybe, for example, you can manage to do things properly. But over there, you need tahaarah more. It's encounter with Allah, with other spirits, danger of attacks of Satan. So you need tahaarah there more. You have to consider sleeping as active part of your life. As I said, sometimes we think sleeping is just waste of time, for example, or just relaxing, physical rest. No, it's much more than that. And this is why in your sleep you may sometimes have true dreams. Sometimes you don't remember them. Many times you don't remember them. Sometimes you remember them. But even if you don't have true dreams, it doesn't mean that you didn't have an encounter. Sometimes even ideas that you have learned at that time you can understand better when you sleep. Sometimes people had questions during sleep, they had the answer. So it's very active time for the soul, because soul can relax from managing body to some extent and be more free. Maybe this example can help. Imagine the relation of soul and body is like a mother puts the child into bed and the child sleeps. Now mother can do something. So soul is like mother and body is like the child. So soul puts the body into bed and now the soul is free, can do something.
Santom, thank you very much, Sheikh.
May Allah bless.
Beautiful answer.
Santom, may Allah bless. Is there any other question? So if not, yeah.
So I'm not seeing any other questions, Sheikh. No.
Okay, so maybe we can make a dua. Did something come, or I have to see? Was it a question or?
Sorry, yes, I'm just seeing a question that's come through, so I'll just read this out. So there's a noise in the background. I hope you can hear me okay. So this says, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
We know the purpose of creation is to attain perfection via spirituality. Why are some people impaired in the journey due to mental illness? Should the amount of suffering not be controlled so as to prevent any hindrance to teaching perfection? Some mental illnesses are too severe to even be able to focus on anything other than surviving day to day.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately this happens, and many times these are possible to prevent, but maybe not by the person himself, or sometimes by the same person, sometimes maybe by others it was possible to prevent, and sometimes maybe something happens by, you know, factors which are not in control. What is important is that Allah considers the condition of the person and wouldn't have expectation from such a person similar to expectations from people who are, you know, all right and mentally, physically are healthy. Every person just need to do what they can. Need to be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Try to do things properly as much as they can. Some people can do more, some people may not be able to do that much, but as much as they can. Also in some lectures I have explained that even when, for example, some people have mental problem or physical problems, you know, maybe they forget things, maybe they suffer from Alzheimer, etc. This doesn't necessarily reflect the condition of the spirit. This only is in the connection between body and soul, but we don't know how is the condition of the soul. Maybe some of these people are very good in their spiritual condition. Even maybe some people who have, you know, problem in understanding, and, you know, we think they are mad. Maybe they are mad in worldly sense, but maybe they are very pure and innocent and very high, you know, maybe they are higher than many other people. Or if someone has forgotten everything, this doesn't mean they have forgotten their iman and deen and, you know, usul ad-din, etc. We cannot understand the condition of, like, for example, someone who is dead, yeah, or sleeping. We cannot understand what is the condition of the soul. Also, people who have problem in the connection between the body and soul, and may have some mental problem, etc., we cannot think negatively about them.
There are thank you messages that have been coming in on the chat as well for today's section.
Thank you.
And,
we need your du'as. So
if there are no further questions, I think we can let Sheikh conclude with dua, please.
Inshallah, we make some du'as together with humbleness and gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا وامنن علينا برضاه وهب لنا رأفته ورحمته ودعاءه وخيره اللهم اشف مرضانا اللهم ارحم موتانا اللهم اقض حوائجنا اللهم يسر أمورنا بحق محمد وآل محمد صلوات الله. May Allah inshallah grant your hajat and hajat of mu'minin inshallah. Iltimas dua.
Jazakumullah.
Ahsantum. Thank you very much. Khuda Hafiz. Thank you. Ahsantum. Khuda Hafiz.